So why would this be something of interest for you as an artist in your paintings? Well, please come with me on my journey and I'll show you why. How I start some of my paintings, and the inspiration that I get from starting my paintings like this. And I'm putting on some gloves because I'm going to be working with charcoal and graphites. And on my Amazon page will be in the link below, will be links to some of these. But this is the big hunk of um, charcoal that I use. And I will use this in my paintings, and then I do a spray, and that can be, discussed later. But this is just really beautiful and incredible. And the reason why I do that is I will start a painting, and here's some samples of paintings that where I've used the charcoal or graphite, and so this one's already been sprayed. You can tell because it doesn't smear. But I will use it underneath the painting. Here's some just pencil. And then I will use it in the middle of a painting or on top of the painting. Whatever just seems to be a fun way to work, whatever's inspiring me at the moment. Here's a smaller painting where I've used some of it. You can see some peeking through underneath, and you can see some on top. Here's a couple paintings that I did where I've used different sources. I've used the probably a graphite pencil over top of wet paint. I've used some underneath. I've used pencil. These are all lighter graphite or charcoal marks. Here's another one that's got a lot of the graphite. It almost makes the painting in this instance right here. So just how I start is I will take this, and this is huge, and this is especially fun when you're using a great big painting. Now this is charcoal, and this will actually smear until you put your fixative on it. So at this point, I can either spray some water and do some smearing, and then add some different paint. Of course, that's now mixing with the water that I put on there. This is a brush that has a very short nubble on the bottom. I can push some of that around just to loosely move the paint to embed with the charcoal. I can add some of the turquoise. These are all high flows. Again, I'm going to add some water to just move some of the paint. I'm going to use a smaller brush. That's another trick you can use, is different size brushes produce different looks on your painting. So this may be a start of a painting. This is actually mixed media paper. It's not watercolor paper. It's a little bit different. A trick that you can do to bring your paintings, bring your paper into the same start when you start, is to spray or paint or spray a gesso on the top. I'm just laying in the paint. I'm using my non-dominant hand. And at this point, you can take another piece of paper. This is again the mixed media paper, Hanson, I believe, and just start another start. So this is just a way to start a painting. Now I'll do a lot of these and set them aside and let them dry, and then start working on them again after this has dried. Now, I have these all in my store. This is a Jerry's Artorama. It's a jumbo black charcoal. This kind of just helps spread. So not as thick a piece as this piece of charcoal. This is very soft. You can see it's already broken off. This is very soft. Then I have a graphite pencil. These are Lyra's, and there's water soluble and soluble. This is a water soluble one. And I'm just marking on paper, and I'm using one sheet of paper. What I normally would do is put this to the side and grab another one. There, I'm really just mixing in. Now this is, I'm not showing this as a final painting. I put this to the side. What I'm doing is just showing you some examples. Okay, this is a piece of watercolor paper. So this time I'm going to start with a Rembrandt. This is a medium. This is graphite. This just gets your mind, so you're not thinking, you're not overthinking, I guess is what you should equate it to. This is a paper glass metal marker. A little bit darker. They each have their own properties to it. I do a lot with my fingers. Playing the paint, non-dominant hand. Turn the paper around. I love the high flow white. Again, these are just ways to get started, because you're not worried. It's not precious at this point. Everything's going to be covered up. Then you're going to have pieces that are going to pop through on the next layer. That's just a beautiful way to start a painting right here. None of these are done. I'm going to show you some more. None of these are finished. These are all in their stages of just getting started. This is with some thicker, with a palette knife added to it. Some more scrapings into the paint. This is where I've added some actually like a gold paint pen to the top. This was done with like the ultramarine blue high flow. This is some watercolor. These are all techniques I can show later. This is another one that is just in the mix. I need to tone down some of the pink in here, but it's just to show how to take charcoal and graphite and start a painting, just to get you started. And that could almost be a finished painting with a few additions to it, maybe some gold to it. But there's not a lot more that you would even have to do to an abstract like this. Look beautiful. Maybe add a little focal point down here. One of the other things that is fun to add, and I'm going to grab it off camera, is this is another high flow gold. I always love gold. So even if I just squirt some gold in here, and use some white. Always have to add white. And the white looks beautiful against the green there because of the contrast. So we're just getting some paint moving around. Again, let me move very haphazard, almost my dominant hand here. So that's a start. At some point, you can call it quits. But again, I see some people have now come into the feed to look. Hello, Christine and Andre. Actually, what these are is I'm very new at doing lives, so bear with me on this. But I think I started, they say don't start till like 7 minutes, because I think I talked for 5 minutes by myself. These are Goldens, and they're the high flow. They're acrylics. I don't use oils. And then the main reason why I did this video is just to show starting a lot of my paintings. I start with graphites and charcoal just to get started on some of the paintings. And I showed some examples of paintings that are in the mix with pencil, with just different markings. And this is an example of starting a painting. And you can imagine this even on a big scale of like a 36 by 36, that if you have a blank canvas and you just want to get started and you want to put something on the canvas just to get your inspiration flowing, that's many times how I start. And a lot of people ask me how I get started with my paintings, and this is a very good example. So I hope that helped.